necesito más. Te crees mucho, lo sé. Muy bien que te digo, sé. Pero hay más en Instagram. Si tú no quieres beber, tengo fila hasta 3. No te necesito más. Te crees mucho, lo sé. Muy bien que te digo, sé. Pero hay más en Instagram. Te crees magia de lo que eres, pero en el mundo lo que a mujeres más me la creía. Hasta ese día que me engañaste, ¿qué más?
Reciclaba amores y estabas tú. Te necesitaba, ya no fueron. I'm going out my mind. Give me some directions to get to you. To get to you, ain't gonna waste my time. I know that we got connection. I think about you. You're on my mind. On my mind. On my mind. Yeah, I'm going out of my mind. Out of my mind. Out of my mind. Yeah. For you, my love. You drive me crazy, tell me what to do, what to do. I'm on my knees, yeah, I am begging you, begging you. I'll break the rules if it will get me to you.
Hey guys, you need to be moving that body. You know why you need to be moving that body? Because you know what it is. 60 is the new 40, and you know we got Gerald. But tonight, if you looked at the promo, we're going to start our first segment of a series of 4 on how to use the toning bands. Guys, this is like so easy to do, and you can do it anywhere. You can stretch your body and tone it at the same time, and that's so important. So let me bring in our host of 60 is the new 40. Let's bring in Gerald. Gerald, what's going on?
Hey, Chris, how are you today?
I am awesome. Do me a favor. Can you flip your phone for me so I can see the full version of you and not a screenshot? You like a tiny little person. Awesome. Let me see if it flips. Nope, it didn't flip with us. So we're going to have to stay that way. Okay, so listen, I'm really excited about this. One of the reasons why I'm excited about it is because I read multiple articles that talked about people who are over the age of 50. And one of the things that impacts us is not stretching. So, you know me, I'm always doing research for all the different podcasts. And what I found is that those stretching bands, similar to the one that you have there, because that's the one that you can use just for shorter distance for stretching. And then there's the larger ones that we saw on the promo. So I think it's really great that you're going to work on a series for our followers here, so they can understand how to use those bands. I actually have those bands. I use them a lot.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely important. Definitely important to get a good stretch in your body without actually using weights and having that resistance against your weight. Because if you haven't stretched for a while, the last thing you want to do is grab some weights, some heavy weights, and then wait and just all of a sudden try to stretch with those things and end up pulling muscles. So that's what we're trying to avoid here now. That's what the stretch bands do, is to avoid any injuries. So definitely make sure that you consult with your doctors and all that prior to doing any of this stuff. So, and just make sure that you're actually warming yourself up before any type of fitness training.
And so, and Drew, you're so right about that. So this first segment, guys, we're just going to talk about all the different alternative things that you can use. But one of the things that I'll tell you with those stretch bands, I put them on when I'm at my desk working, just to go ahead and kind of do like this thing where I'm parting my legs and I'm counting the reps. And what that's doing is building up the muscles in my inner thigh just by me sitting at the desk and working. So folks, those little small things when you become our age are so important to keep our body toned and fit. We all know, all of us can't look like 60 is the new 40, like Gerald, who's been working on his body for years. Some of us need to start small. So these are the small things that you can do to keep that tone right on your body. So Gerald, even before we get to the band, is that a Tide container there? What is that?
It's one of those products, and this is one of the products that you can actually use in the house. If you don't actually have a band, you have
Yeah.
a gallon and a half jug, and then a gallon jug. Just for the weight resistance, just a little bit of weight. If you don't actually have the big weights like I have now, just use something that's in the house. There's small things you can use in the house. There's canned goods you can use as well. Little small canned goods, or you can use the number 10 cans. Just depends on what weight resistance you actually need. Those are the things that are in your house that you can just simply use. You don't need to go out there and spend a bunch of money on a whole bunch of equipment.
Gerald, and I really appreciate you saying that, because a lot of people, what they do is they go to the gym and they think they need to go home and replicate all of that equipment at home, and you really don't. I was watching something the other day where the person was using the wall to do push-ups.
Correct.
And I was just like, no way. And what they were doing is like they call it weight resistant push-ups. So you don't feel the weight of pushing yourself up from the floor. You're pushing yourself off the wall. And it's kind of like you're at an angle, when you're doing it. And you've done it in one of the segments showing people how to do that. And I thought that was tremendous.
Oh, yeah, absolutely correct. And it also stretches your calves out too as well. So there's multiple things you can do with just using the wall. The pole too as well. You can actually do squats with the pole. You actually hold the pole and you can do squats that way just for balancing purposes. So there's so many multiple things you can do without actually using weights itself.
So, for women, ladies, you can also use it for pole dancing, which is an exercise. I went to a pole dancing exercise class. I lasted, girl, literally 10 minutes. You
can explain all that, Chris. That's not my area.
No. It was an exercise class.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I think is very important when people see you, just like you were like, oh, Chris, I don't want to know. It was an actual exercise class. And what it was about toning.
Yeah.
And it was just unreal. And I lasted maybe 15 minutes because you needed the lower and the upper body strength to do a lot of the different things using a pole.
Exactly.
It made me think twice about it. I said, you know what? I might need to go back to the class to really help me with my toning. It was a full body workout, just like yoga.
And the very thing you talk about, Chris, is toning your body. We're not trying to be Superman or Superwoman or anything like that. You just want to tone. You get that little extra jiggle that you've had, from over the years of eating and just relaxing and not paying attention to your body. We're just going to get you toned back up again and tighten things up. That's what we're looking to do.
So what you're talking about is just doing some everyday things in order to keep your body toned. Now, does consistency count?
Well, definitely going to throw consistency in there. We're looking at, I'd like to get you started between 3 days out of a week. If we can at least do 3, I'd like to get you up to 5 days a week. You need to keep your body in motion. And I know we get busy and all that, but, at this age, it's starting to calm down a little bit, as far as working so hard and trying to, do all these extra things. Tone your body up, eat properly. That's a whole nother segment we'll talk about eating too as well. But right now, we're going to deal with the bands and we're going to deal with the little jugs and stuff like that and show you how to tone your body up, because that's so important.
Okay, so Joe, you said life is getting a little bit easier the older you get. Okay, let me just say this for the record. Some of us is just getting started. So I'm just going to tell you. So one of the things that I really, when I looked at the bands before we even thought about doing this, was that there are different type of bands that people can use. Like what you have now is really kind of like an upper body band. Correct. That you use. And so when you talk about that, can you kind of talk through the different types of bands? Because some are shorter, some are longer. And then the one that we did in the promo is a full body band that you can use either with a partner or by yourself.
Right. There's some bands that are 6 feet long. There's some bands that are 8 feet long. So you would double wrap the band,
okay.
And then that way you give it a little bit more resistance. So it just depends on how, what type of band you have. Some bands have just one string, one strand alone. And so you can stretch it a little bit longer and further. So that you would use for your lower body. This particular one I like for my upper body, just to stretch, as far as the upper body is concerned. You're not stretching it too far and not too much resistance. But but you can go out and get, there's multiple types of bands out there, but just get a band because they actually work. There's no one that's better than the other, to be quite honest with you. Just look at the size that you get. There's some that are like, again, some are 8 feet long, some are 6 feet long. Just depends.
Now, Drew, I use that same band when I'm sitting at my desk for my leg workout. Is that okay?
It is perfectly fine. You can use for this legs, like a short distance movement, like a short movement. Yeah, you can use it as a short movement. Now, the longer
I just kind of do this with it.
I'm
Till
sorry.
I feel the tension.
Yes, until you feel the tension. Absolutely
Yeah, and
correct.
then I bring it back.
And you're just looking for the resistance, and that's why it's called resistance training. You know, because you're not really going to injure yourself doing resistance training because you judge the resistance that you're actually using. And I'll show you in the next segment, you know, exactly how that actually works.
So, you know, a lot of people between, thanks for that, Gerald, a lot of people between the ages of 40 and 50 are starting to swim more because that's another way of stretching your body and getting a full body workout. A lot of them are going to yoga to work out. And by the way, if you haven't done yoga, you need to warm up. I went to yoga and I was sore for 5 days.
Well, Chris, you pretty much nailed it right there. Because if you notice, water has resistance. You have to push against the water, but you're not going
Yeah,
to pull muscles. You're not going to strain yourself as opposed
right.
to free weights. Free weights, you have to be very, very careful with free weights because, again, you can pull your muscles really, really bad with the free weights. With the
Okay.
resistance training, you're not going to pull those muscles. You're actually stretching them because, again, if your body's not going to go that far, it'll stop. You know, so
Okay.
again, we're looking for that resistance training, and that will help tone your body.
So when you and Gerald, thanks for that. So when you look at resistance training, the reps that you're looking for, is it small number of reps or are you maxing it out at 10 or 20 reps and how many times?
I'm maxing them out. We're doing repetitions because if we're just toning, we're looking for repetitions. If you're just
Okay.
doing the light, you know, heavier weights or heavier things for 2 or 3 repetitions, you're looking for size. You're trying to get bigger and things like that. And we're not looking to gain muscle in that fashion. We're just looking to tone again. You know, we're not looking for all this definition in your arms and your chest and everything else. Now that will come along with it, but at the same time, we're just looking to again, like I said, that little bit of jiggle that we have in the back of the arms and also in the waist area too as well, and the legs and your gluteus. You know, we're just trying to tighten those areas up.
So like, and Gerald, thanks for that. Are there certain things that you would recommend? And I know as we go through segment 2, 3, and 4, that you would recommend for women, because like you said, women arms, because if we don't work out on them, they become a little loose. Our
Yes.
mid area after having children or not having children, just due to age, it stretches out, especially when you go into menopause. All of a
Right.
sudden your waistline disappears, right?
Mm-hmm. It sure
Whatever
does.
the reason is, it just goes away. But the thing is, we start to fill out a little bit more. So the thing is, I just want to confirm, because you know, people watching like, what do you mean this is not going to tone? You're saying it's going to tone, but it's not going to define. It's not going to give you definition. It's just going to tighten it up.
It's just going to tighten it up. Absolutely correct.
Okay.
Your diet's going to help reduce the weight. You know what I mean? Because obviously it's from eating and from, you know, gaining a little bit extra fat in your.
Right.
So actually your diet's going to help shape you a little bit more. This is just going to tighten up what you currently have. You know, some people are perfectly fine. So one thing that people have to realize, you know, 160 and 180 is not a bad weight, or even 200 is
Right.
not a bad weight. You can tone it and tighten that weight up. Sometimes that's just some people's natural body weight. It's simple as that.
Right.
That's their natural body weight. So again, you know, trying to be 130 pounds or 115 pounds is not realistic. Because I've seen people with 130 pounds and still have a gut. You know, so again, you have to go back to toning your body and toning yourself up for what your body structure actually is, and know what your actual body structure is, and go with
Drew,
that.
I'm so glad you said that, because so many people I find, you know, I know I'm a shapely person. I'm not a fat person, but I'm a shapely person. And I do listen to you from the beginning when you were saying do certain exercise and certain things that you need to do. I've been working consistently on that. And I've seen the difference. But like you said, I'm not trying to get muscle. I'm not trying to look like, you know, Mr. Olympia. I just
Right.
want it tight. And so I noticed that those things are happening over a period of time. But I think a lot of times people think it's too slow. Like it's the consistency, and you have to be really committed to this, right?
You make it basically a lifestyle, Chris. What you're saying, yeah, it should be slow. You know what I mean? Slow is going to last. Again, I've been doing this for over 40 years, and I'm still toned. You know, and
Right.
again, I'm not injured. I don't have any injuries. You know, I don't have any knee problems. I don't have any joint problems. Again, you know, using the heavy weights and then, you know, pushing the weights and then locking your elbows out, it's wrong. You know, so all those things I talk about on my YouTube page, and, you know, when I get into some specialty workouts, I'll actually explain all that. But those are the things that you want to avoid. These bands will actually help you avoid a lot of that. So we're just trying to tone back, you know, because some people are actually watching the show. They're athletes. They're, you know, former athletes that used to, you know, train and work out and do all that. Just kind of got away from, excuse me, from life. You know, life just didn't.
Right.
So we're just trying to get right back into the things that we used to do. And technology's changed quite a bit from the days we did back when I was in my 20s. You know, bands
Yeah.
didn't even this back when I was 20 years old. Then, like a band, that would have been a joke to us to use a band. Like, what's that going to do for us? But no, believe it or not, it does a lot for you.
Okay, guys, we'll be right back after this quick commercial break. When we get back, we're going to start off with that band, and we're going to find out how to stretch that upper body because, honey, I'm going to tell you right now, I tried to go out and work in the yard without stretching. I was sore for a couple days. And folks, when I say work in the yard, I do full landscaping. I'm not just picking weeds. I'm doing full landscaping, putting up gazebos, ponds, all of that big stuff. So I'm going to tell you, you need to stretch because the older you get, your body just needs more stretching. So we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
My name is Christine Burkett, the inventor of the 5 F's to Love. This is a compatibility app. It's an app that gives you an opportunity to rate words that start with the letter F in chronological order of importance to you, to help you find your one true love, your soulmate, and the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So after you've taken the time to rate your F's in chronological order, you send a link to the person, I don't know, you just met, or the person you've been dating for quite some time. Or maybe it's the person you've been married to for 30 to 40 to 50 years. And then you compare your top 5 F's to find out what things you have in common and things that you may perhaps need to work on. This is taking a simplistic perspective on how to find your one true love, your soulmate, the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And thank you for downloading the 5 F's app.
Hey guys, welcome back to 60 is the New 40. Before we start this second segment on stretching your body using the bands, I want you to understand that before you do any of these exercises, please consult with a doctor. And please be sure to drink lots of water and have someone there around you if you are a person who's not stable. These exercises are at an intermediate to lower level, so it's not a lot of exhaustion. We want to make sure that you're okay. That's a disclaimer, and I think my lawyer will be happy that I said all of that. Now, hey, Gerald. I only have 2 shows that do disclaimers, yours and the finance guy.
Yeah,
the
thank
finance
you for the disclaimer. I appreciate that.
I got to do disclaimers. So, Gerald, those bands, you have these stretch bands. Now, people can pick those up where?
Anywhere, like a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls or something. Not that to be a sporting store. I mean, sporting stores have them. You're probably getting a little bit more variety in a sporting store, like a Dick's or somewhere like that, where you get the 6-foot or the 8-foot bands. So, but occasionally you'll find those at like a Marshalls or TJ Maxx. We're only talking about like $9.99, or sometimes you can get lucky and get them for $5.99. And you know, most I've seen them for probably about $25. You know, just depending on what bands, and you may get a group of bands that way for that amount.
Okay,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So folks, check out your nearest Marshalls and TJ Maxx. You can also, I'm sure everything is on Amazon, or go to your local athletic store. All right, Gerald, what are we working out on up top? What are we working on? What's happening?
Actually, we're just going to do straight across your chest. We're just going to come across and stretch your arms and stretch your shoulders.
Okay. So when you're doing that, are we supposed to, no, you can go ahead and keep doing it. I was going to ask you a question. So you're stopping there. Why? Because that's where your max is?
That's where my max is. That's what I'm just going there. I'll eventually come out, but I just want to come in here and work myself out there eventually, get to that point. But again, these bands don't stretch as far because remember we talked earlier about how far the bands go. So
right.
When I come over here and I want to go a little bit further, I just do one arm at a time and then I stretch.
Oh, okay.
You see what I mean? Just one at a time. So I'm concentrating on one arm at a time.
Okay.
And then I come to the other side and I'm doing the very same thing.
Okay, so I have a question for you. When you're doing the full reps, and if you can keep doing those for me, the full chest reps that you were doing. Yeah. So when you're doing the full chest reps, what's your recommendation? And tell me what part of the body are you toning doing that exercise?
I'm working my shoulders and I'm working my forearms again. So again, I like doing these kind of exercises because again, if I go to stretch for some canned goods or go stretch for something, just like when I do these type of exercises as well, I'm stretching upwards. If you haven't moved for a while and you go to make that stretch move, and the next thing you know, you feel a twitch because guess what? You haven't stretched, you haven't moved those muscles for some time. So again, I like doing these type of exercises just for the basic things that you do in the household. That you go to move.
So Gerald, I got a quick question. So as you continue to do these for me, let's look at when you talk about men and women, not that exercise, the original one that you were doing, the full chest.
Yes.
So when you're doing the full chest.
Yes.
that one.
Uh-huh.
What's the difference for men and women?
There really isn't any difference. Our
Oh
bodies
no,
are the
Gerald,
same.
you work out. You can continue to do that
Okay.
while you talk to us. Don't take a break. Okay. So what parts, like, so for a woman, is that going to help the
Well,
size of her
I'm gonna
chest?
stop. Yeah, I'm gonna stop just so I can bring it across. You're working right across your chest area, your
Okay.
shoulder and your upper chest area is what you're actually working. So you're stretching those areas right across. I mean, I wish you could actually feel it. If you had a band, you could actually feel that. You feel that tension right across
Right.
your arms and right through your shoulders and across your chest area. That's male or female. So that's not a male or female,
Right.
movement or as far as building that up is concerned. Women, if you're wearing a strapless, dress or a spaghetti top dress or whatever, you want to have a nice chest and shoulder area. So that helps tone that area. Men too as well want to have some pecs, so you're actually working on that area. You're actually working into your pec area too as well. So that's part of what that exercise does for you.
Gerald, why do you keep stopping? I'm not finished. Go ahead. Why do you keep stopping on that
I
chest?
can't do 50 of them. So again.
Oh no, I'm just asking for 20 because I'm counting. I'm
I have
counting.
pauses in between. So what I was doing is I'm doing probably like a 10 repetition of 10 to 12, and then I take a pause in between. And so
Okay.
again, it depends on what you're actually trying to tone. I mean, how much you're trying to tone. So I like that. I'll go ahead and do my 10.
So, Joe, while you're doing your 10, a lot of the women, and especially now, a lot of men have sagging breasts. Is this something that'll help build a man's chest up or tighten a woman's breast up?
It will, as far as men are concerned, because the breast is a little bit different because the breast is a fat. So
Okay.
it will help tone somewhat, but it will not take as far as lift them up. A lot of women think that you're going to use chest exercises is going to lift the breast. That's not going to work. That does not happen through weightlifting.
But it will help with some toning.
It will help with toning. That's absolutely correct. Help also with stretch marks too as well, because again, you're now tightening that skin back up. Because what happens with stretch marks a lot of times, because you were larger, then you became smaller, or vice versa. So you're actually toning that yourself up.
Okay, so then, Gerald, when you look at extending your arm this way that you're doing with the band, when you're going across this way just with the one arm, what's the difference between doing your full body the way you were doing it and just extending the arm?
Look where I'm actually stopping. So here I'm actually stopping right here because I'm concentrating just in this particular area here. Here I'm coming all the way back. So if I were to reach for something back here, if I was to reach or do something, so I'm actually toning all that. And again, it's also pulling within here, it's within my bicep area. So I'm getting a stretch right in the bicep.
Okay.
So doing that movement here, I'm stretching out my bicep too as well. So the shoulder, the bicep, and the left part of my chest, because I'm on the left side, are being affected by this movement.
So when you're doing that, if for women, is this area here and your arm right in here?
I'm sorry, I can't see. What is that again?
So it's basically it's right to the left of a woman's chest, like under your armpit, and then your biceps.
Well, no, not under the armpits, because that's normally your back area, which I'll show you some exercises as far as that.
Okay.
That's more of a pulling. So that's where we would actually take the bands, and we can get into that particular one if you like now. And that's
no. I want to save that for segment 3.
Okay, that's fine. But
I want to focus on the chest so people get a clarity, because I think, when men work out, you guys get toner a lot faster than women. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, is that men tone faster than women do.
That's a very good question, Chris. And the reason for that is women carry more fat than men. That's why. Because again, you were talking about earlier about having breasts. That's all that is fat. So you carry a little bit more fat than men do. So that's why you don't tone as fast, because it's about eliminating the fat, and again, has to do with childbirth and all that stuff too as well, and genetically how you were actually created. So that's probably what happens in that area, is that men carry less fat like that, but men do get fat too, as you can see.
So I was gonna say right now, not throwing any gender under the bus, but what I'm finding is that women are doing more things to maintain their body, in a sense of getting that lipo or whatever they're getting to get it done. It's a lot more women in the gym. But the men, I'm seeing a lot of beer bellies and a lot of sagginess going on men. And so
No, that it's funny you say that because that's exactly what happens. Is because men get, they call it the beer belly or whatever. You see a lot more beer belly.
Yeah.
So if you look at people that have gained weight, you see the big difference between men and women where they actually gain weight.
Yes.
Men do not gain it in their glutes. Women have the big glutes. They'll end up getting glute or the saggy in their glutes. So men, you do not see a big glute as far as a man is concerned. You'll see as far as the belly is concerned. Also,
Right.
the back of the arms, men's back of the arms. I've not honestly seen a flabby man back on.
No.
Very flabby.
Even when they're really heavy.
Right. So even when they're really heavy, correct. But you will see a lady, her back of her arms right away, and she's not that large, will have flabby back. The back of her arms will be have a flabby look to them. Again, why that is, I have no clue. So that's why I actually try to show the exercises, that you can actually eliminate those things. Because again, the next one I'm doing now is right here is I'm stretching the back of my arm. So again,
Okay.
I'm using this as a resistance on how far I take right over my shoulder, and I'm coming up. And what's that working? That's the work in the back of my arm.
In here.
Yeah, that's correct. Absolutely correct. So I'm working at it, and I'm stretching at the same time. No major resistance. I'm not using 40 or 50 pounds or anything like that to injure myself. I'm just using the bands, and as I pull forward, I'm getting the resistance, and then just come back with it. Don't just drop it back. Bring it back easy. I'm real big into coming back easy. Just don't drop it back. Then you come over to the other side, and you give me another 10. And you're working the back of our arms. We're stretching them. See, I can feel that. I can feel that pumping in the back of my arms just by doing those. 5, 6.
So what you're doing right now, how many reps would you recommend for a woman versus a man?
10. I like 12 to 15 for either man or woman, to be honest with you. Because again, we're doing toning exercising and not building. We're not trying to build muscle. We're just doing mainly toning. So again, it depends on how tight you actually make the band and how much resistance you're getting from the band. So again, we were talking about earlier, tighten it up a little bit tighter or double it up, and then you can actually get a little bit more resistance out of it. Because over time, you'll get stronger. So no matter, so later on, you notice that these 10 that you were doing become very easy. So now we need up to 15, or we need to make the band a little bit tighter, and that allows you even a little bit more resistance. But again, all we're looking for is tone. We're not looking to gain all this muscle. We're looking just to tighten things up that we allowed to loosen up over the years, and just want to get that nice body and that shape back to you again. No, you're not going to be this, 135 or 120 or whatever. It's just not going to happen. We're not trying to get to that.
Gerald, I love that you keep saying that, because I think a lot of women, they see them. Like I tell myself, I'm not going to be the person I was in my 20s. I'm not even shooting for 30s. I'm shooting for 45, and I'm 52. If I can get the 45-year-old Chris, I'm good. If I can get that body was awesome. Size 12, it looked amazing, and I'm good. That's what my goal is. But I think sometimes we have unrealistic expectations when we start doing things like this.
And the 12, and it's funny you're saying that, because the 12, the 14, and the 16 size is not a bad size, because that's some people's body structure, and that's okay. You just need to tighten things up and tone things up. That's all that is. That's all it is. It's just simply your body structure. And I say that a lot, because I always use animals as an analogy. Again, a giraffe looks like a giraffe. A rhinoceros looks like a rhinoceros. They look, differently. They all eat plants. They don't eat a bunch of meat. They eat plants. So just how they were born. So how the body structure. Some people are 5'2", some are 6'2". So again, just know what your body, structure is like, and don't beat yourself up trying to mirror yourself against, one of your friends who's, just for somebody who's gifted and has a, great body. I see some guys like, dude, you don't even work out that much, and look at your arms, or look at your chest and stuff like that. So, again, get away from that. Just look in the mirror and look at yourself and say, where do I want to be? You just made a great statement, Chris. You want your 45-year-old body. That's perfect. Yeah. That's perfectly said. You want what you had at 45 years old. You don't want what, Mary Jane and Sally and they have. You don't want any of that. You want what Chris had at 45.
Yeah. That's my goal.
45 and fabulous, right?
I was 45 and fabulous, and I'm 52 and fine. So I'm doing the 52 and fine. It's what do I have? 2 or 3 more days before I'm 52. So I'm ready. But Gerald, before we end this segment, can you go through the 3 or 4 exercises you did for the chest using the bands?
Use the original ones you said?
Yeah, if you can go through each exercise before we end to let people know what are the 3 or 4 exercises they need to do for their chest.
Okay. So again, we're going to go back to the one I originally put out. Arms out, slightly bent too as well. I don't like locking the elbows because, again, we don't want to hurt your elbows and hurt your joints for us locking those out.
Okay.
And then we're bringing them out. I'm going to give you 2. Not a full movement on this particular one. And I feel that across my chest area and across my shoulder area. And then we're working, now we're stretching, getting a full stretch of the arm. Now we're working part of your chest and then working your bicep too as well. We're stretching.
But you're still not locking that elbow, right?
That's correct. Still not locking that elbow. You still see a slight bend in that elbow.
Okay.
And then we hit to the other side.
Okay.
The very same thing. That's your second one. And then you have the other one that we stretch behind it when we coming up. And that second one, we're working.
Now, where's your hand? Right behind your neck?
Yes, right behind my neck.
Okay.
Yep, right behind my back. And that's just to give you more resistance. You can move it down a little bit further if you want. See, that gave me a little bit more resistance doing that. Just that slight move in the band gave me a little bit more resistance. If I brought it back up, then I'm not stretching it as far. So there's not as much resistance.
So bring it a little bit closer.
Exactly. And then there you go. Now there's more tension.
Okay.
Then I take it to the other side, the very same thing. Now, guess what? A little secret we're doing is I'm also stretching this arm at the same time. While the little secret there too as well is you're also working that other arm too as well. So those 3 exercises help give you a nice tone in your upper body and helps give you a nice stretch too as well. Again, I'm gonna talk about doing some things around the household, or if you're out in the yard working or whatever, and you're bending and making movements that you haven't made for quite some time. We don't want you to pull any muscles. So actually, just stretching exercises using the bands are going to help eliminate that.
Awesome. Well, folks, I'm going to tell you, you guys already know, I already follow his workout regimen. For everybody who's like 50 and older, I've been doing it now since we started. I do see a lot of changes. Now I'm adding the band. So folks, we'll be right back after this quick commercial break, and we're jumping on those jugs. So if you don't have weights at home, Gerald's about to show you how to take the toning to muscle building with the jugs and some water. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Get it that I'm never going back. Get it that I'm never going back. I get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last. Get it that I'm never going back. Get it that I'm never going back. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it that I'm never going up, going up.
You want it though? Where do I begin? I see the hate, they don't wanna see me win. Bank deposits, I got more coming in. Top down, throw the money in the wind. I don't want it all. Heard the scammer had to switch up the accounts. Moving paper, gotta call it my account. It's all in, I can't have it coming out. Been through the struggle, I can see another drought. Yeah, it's not a purse, it's a merge. 6 figures was a goal, now it's 9 or a hearse. Put it work. Used to pull up, not swerve. No time for the snakes, time to put them in the dirt. That's word. I gotta get it, it's in my DNA. You only see the highlights, don't know what it takes. Last year stressing, got no sleep. Now I'm right between the courts, out of nosebleed. I see the hate, they don't wanna see me win. Bank deposits, I got more coming in. Top down, throw the money in the wind. I don't want it all. Heard the scammer had to switch up the accounts. Moving paper, gotta call it my account. It's all in, I can have it coming out. And through the struggle, I can see another drought. Yeah, same circles to the same gang. We just get to it, we don't gangbang. Lost some friends to the same thing. Keep a low pro when we maintain.
Hey guys, welcome back. I know you see Gerald sitting over there. So you know it's 60 is the new 40. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed the first and the second segment, tonight we're talking about toning and we're using just little things that you can do by using the stretch bands, is what he did in segment number 2. And now we're going to talk about, basically, you probably wonder, why does he have a gallon jug of water and some detergent? Because folks, there's no excuse. You too can go from toning to building muscle mass by using products and containers that you have at home. So, Joe, share with us the containers that you have and why you chose the gallon and the Tide.
Well, because actually it's a little bit different weight. So again, so you have the gallon jug and then you have a gallon and a half of the detergent. So it just depends on what weight. And then I purposely took a little bit of water out of here so you can adjust your weight as far as how much water you actually have in here. So it just depends on what you want to do as far as weight is concerned. You will expand yourself to a weight where you need to move on up. So you may start out with the gallon jug being down here. It has a nice handle to it because I'm going to show you actually how to move it around. So the handles are really nice. It makes it nice and convenient for you. This particular one, I want to keep this at the full. I want to keep.
Okay, and how many gallons is in that one?
This is a gallon and a half.
That's a gallon and a half.
That's a gallon and a half. That's correct. And then we have the gallon here. So
So folks, if you missed a disclaimer, before you attempt to do any of these exercises in this segment, please contact or secure confirmation from your doctor that you are capable and able of doing these exercises without causing any bodily harm to yourself. Why? Because Gerald has been working out since he was what, 20?
18.
18. So him doing it is different than us doing it. So let's keep it real. So Gerald, I want to thank you for this, because I think a lot of people from 50 to 60 want to be toned. They want to start getting themselves in shape because they know you're not even halfway. We say halfway there, but you got a lot more life to live, right?
That's correct.
So when you look at it from that perspective, people do that whole thing of, okay, my money is right, or I'm working on my money being right, but now you got to work on your health and your body, taking you there. In the last segment, we talked about not only women are gaining weight in that mid area, but so are men. Sure. And the thing is, both of us need to work on it. So folks, he's showing you different things that you can do. And the other thing is that if you lose mobility in your arms, it's going to limit how you live this healthy life. You need your arms, you need your legs. So first, we're going to start off with these jugs. And I'm going to tell you right now, Gerald, the recycling business is going to go down after this, because you're telling people don't throw out your jugs, fill them up with water.
Exactly right. We're trying to get ready to stop doing plastic anyway. So here we go. So hang on to your plastic in the household. So again, we have the gallon jug. So again, what we're going to do is work on the bicep area.
Okay.
As far as the bicep is concerned. And so again, the very thing that we would do is put your elbows here up against your body just for leverage. So you're not swinging. So you're not swinging your arms. Because you don't want to swing any of this part. You just.
Girl, did you say no swinging in the arms?
no swinging in the arms. And I'm gonna give you an example of it.
Okay.
We're doing all that. We don't need to move all that. We need to just we just need to move the bicep area.
Okay.
See, we're just moving the bicep area. We're just toning that. So actually, I'm working my bicep. We're toning that. We're also toning your forearms too as well at the same time. I like having a balance in your body. One thing, have big biceps and then small forearms. We're just trying to keep everything nice and toned. And if you notice, my muscles are contracted just by doing that. Just that simple. Just like I'm drinking. Just bring it right on up and down. Notice that I'm not just dropping it.
Right.
It's nice.
You're controlling it as it's going down.
I'm absolutely controlling it, Chris. Perfectly said. I'm controlling it. You're controlling up. And that's also resistance training. So look.
Okay.
Look at it. You can count coming down. Some training I've done in the past is I've counted to 3 or 4 going down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I come up 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm concentrating more. That puts a lot more resistance on you.
And Joe, this is good for men and women?
This is good for men and women. This is unisex. This can go both ways, either way. And again, it depends on the weight. It depends on how strong you are, because again, I now have the gallon and a half jug. So it depends on how strong you get, as far as what weight you actually want to use. And again, take the water out if it's too heavy, or add water to it, and it kind of go from there. So again, you want to balance yourself out. So now we want to go to the next 10. So you want to go to this side. And again, I can feel the pump. You can feel the pump in your forearms. You feel the pump in your biceps. And again, we're looking to tone yourself.
Right.
And that's just the front part of your arms. We'll get into the backside too as well, because the jugs can be used for that too as well, working on that tricep area.
Gerald, I see you starting a whole new movement at the senior centers. I can see those old ladies and old men right now with those jugs and filling them up at the levels they need. And they're like, you better turn on that Gerald workout so we can start getting our upper body together. I can see that movement.
You know what? That's a great point, Chris. I could actually start doing the senior centers because, again, you don't need the weights there. Just the simple little canned goods. I mentioned that to you earlier. Just the little, canned goods that you can use to exercise, to do shoulder exercises, to work your shoulders, too as well. You can use the jugs. Just depends on how strong you are. Some people are stronger. Again, someone 130, someone 180 are going to be a little bit stronger than each other, just simply because of your weight. So you may need that extra resistance. So again, I know I harp on that quite a bit, and I just want people to realize is that everybody's going to be different. They're going to be at different levels. So just find out what your level is and not focus on what everyone else, where other people are. That's one thing I had to do. Sometimes I go in the gym. Back in the day, I went to the gym and I had to bench 400 pounds in front of everybody. Prove it. Not for what? I didn't prove for what? All I'm doing is injuring myself. Going out there, trying to show up because I see some guy doing 300 pounds. Now I need to do 400 pounds. You get away from those type of attitudes and you're like, I'm just trying to tone myself. I'm just trying to work out, to stay nice, healthy and keep a healthy body and look fit. That's all. Pretty much it. Just got to change the mindset.
And Gerald, I'm glad you said it. I think a lot of people do. They look at social media, and for a while, I thought everybody was looking the same. I was getting confused. And I'm a very independent person. I just have my own look. I never look at other people and say, oh, I wish I looked like them. Never. Well, let me take that back. Angela Bassett. All right. So I'm just keeping it real. Angela Bassett is the only woman that I said I would want to have Angela Bassett's body. That's it. Okay. But the thing is, I do realize that my body makeup is different than everyone else's.
Absolutely correct.
So I kind of look back at pictures and I find the best picture in size for me, and I shoot for that goal. But a lot of people, Gerald, they go for that quick fix instead of putting in that time. And so can you talk people through why you should do this over a period of time instead of just rushing out and getting it? Because what you just said was mindset.
Chris, that's so important what you just said, because at the beginning of my training, when I was 18 years old, I always said I wanted to be doing this when I'm 60. And I can't believe that I'm actually still here. And I said that. I set a goal to say, this is health and fitness, hence the words, it's health and fitness. So trying to take all these tablets and take all these, these quick fix, type of, liquids or whatever there is, to throw in your body and try to make things happen are not going to last. Your body's not intended for that. Consistency is what's going to actually work for you. And that's what I've done in consistency. And yeah, I know it might sound like I'm bragging, but I am. I've worked out very hard and I stayed consistent all my life. And I feel like it. I don't feel like I'm 60. I get out with the grandkids and I do flips with them. I do cartwheels and all that here at 60 years old, no problem. Bought a new bicycle. I'm out there bicycling along with these guys, so they don't have to worry about, pop, on a cane or barely can move around or get up and down the steps. So again, it's so important to be consistent with it. And I'll go back to what we talked about originally. Just ease yourself back into it. You probably haven't worked out for some time. Don't just jump out and think you're going to, all of a sudden, do this 500 pounds or 100 pounds or 200 pounds or whatever, whatever the case may be. Jug of water, guys. Just a jug of water. Just start moving a jug of water around. Just start exercising with a jug of water. Start doing your shoulder exercise with a jug of water. Just the simple things that we can actually do just to start toning your body again. It's about body and motion. Take a walk after dinner. Just kind of work your body and get your system moving around. You don't want to eat and just sit still. You want to get yourself, moving around so things can move around in your body.
Drew, I'm glad you said that. I don't know if you missed the nutrition show that we did for diabetes, where Gerald looked at looking at what people normally eat versus substitutes. And I'm going to tell you, that was a big show for me, because I think a lot of times people don't understand what you put in your body impacts you long term. Yeah. We're thinking it's that 20-second, 30-second thrill, that moment, and we're not understanding the long-term impact. So kind of going back to what you just said, two things that I think we need to highlight for everybody is we need to look at the water intake. People don't understand the importance of water intake. The older you get, the more water you need to consume.
Dehydration is one of the worst things that can happen to you in your body. Trust me, it causes people to faint. Cause you to feel, fatigued. And I'll tell you a quick thing. I'll expose myself. Today was a rush day. I was busy, and I came here. And I was tired. I was like, "What's going on? What's happened? I've got enough rest and everything else. I didn't take enough fluid in. All of a sudden, I took my fluid in. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Look, it just rejuvenated me. I just came back from it. It's like, wow, that's what it is. You need to actually have those fluids in your body. And when you get older, there's a little secret. You can pinch your skin. You see if your skin comes back right away. You know you're hydrated. If it doesn't come back right away, you're dehydrated. So those are little small, little small things you can do just to do a quick check on your body as far as dehydration.
I like that, Andrew. I'm glad you said that. And if you're anything like me, that my life is extremely busy, I have a timer on my phone that says drink water with lemon.
Oh, wow.
Drink water with lemon.
Okay.
It's a timer that goes off, and I put it on my phone to do that.
Okay.
So regardless of where I'm at or what I'm doing, because I'm always on the road, busy work days, going from one space to the other. And oftentimes, like you said, you forget. Like you came home today, you were so busy at work. And it's like, at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I didn't drink any water.
Exactly.
Not that I didn't eat. And that's the other thing, too. I think when you're looking at doing these workouts, folks, and Gerald, you can better explain than I can, that people need to understand, like today, Gerald had a podcast, I think in the early part of January, where he was talking about make these quick snack packs. You'll be proud to know, Gerald, I'm still making my snack packs.
Oh, awesome. I am proud. That's awesome.
So see, I do listen. I know you think I don't be listening. So what I do is I buy a fruit tray with all these different fruit in it. And then throughout the week, I just make little tiny snack packs to take with me. I don't have to cut them up. They're already cut up. And so yesterday and today, I had my little fruit snack packs. I also bought pistachios and almonds that I mixed together. And those are my nuts that I eat. See, I listen. I don't see you think I don't listen.
I'm impressed, Chris. That's good. And that's important. It really is, because then you don't overeat either. Because then when it's time to eat, you're not filling your plate up with a bunch of stuff. You're just adding those. Because I'm a big component of having 5 meals a day, 5 small.
Right.
Not big, large meals. Have 5 small meals throughout the day, and then limit yourself past not 7 o'clock having a meal, because you're going to lay down between 9 and 10 o'clock. So again, that those small things are going to make a difference on cutting 4 or 5 pounds that you need to cut, right away. Somebody needs 5 pounds, and you know what? We got 5 today. We'll get 5 tomorrow. Get 5 after that. That's how you do it. Just small increments. That's how you're actually going to do it. The same way with the working out, small increments, small baby steps is what we need to do. And that goes back to the consistency part. And I noticed you mentioned that earlier. You need to stay consistent, guys. Staying
consistent. Folks, we need you to stay consistent and stay focused. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. When we get back, you guys, believe it or not, Gerald's going to use the chair. Aren't you going to use the chair, Gerald?
Yeah, I'll bring the chair. Yep, I'll do the chair, or I'll use the bench.
Folks, all I got to say is everybody has a chair, so don't play. Folks, you can. We're not saying you're going to look like Gerald. By no means. He's been doing this since he was 18, but it's never too late to get your body in shape. Folks, we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
My business. 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 My business.
And
So
yes, you did catch me dancing. You know why? All the promos are made by PICF, which is my other company, and I like them all. So that's why I dance. Plus, it's a part of my little workout that I be doing all the time. So, Gerald, listen, one of the things that I so love about what you're doing is where's that? I call it the 13 gallon. Where's that 1.3 gallon? You got that with you? Are you doing a combo? Okay, so folks, listen up. Don't use the gallon thing. Gerald is using that one because he's been working out since he was 18. So he's going to use that one. And guys, this is the one I think you should use if you're really trying to get it together and you're at home with no equipment. So Gerald, that chair, everybody has a chair. Let's talk about that chair first.
Everyone has a chair. Now I did the bench earlier. I was going to show you the tricep as far as using this one as well.
Yeah.
So if you're in the chair, again, elbows are straight forward, and you're going up. See, this is heavy. Even for me, you can feel that, and you're getting a nice resistance. And you're going to build muscle with this. All you're doing is squeezing, but remember, you're not locking your elbows. You're coming down, and you're going up. Here, anywhere from 12 to 15 repetitions. I want 12 to 15 reps on something like this.
So, Joe, even if you're a lady who's somewhat in shape, because you're using both arms, they could even use that container.
Absolutely correct, because I'm using both arms.
Okay, so folks, if you're watching, as long as you have a chair, and how many gallons is that, Gerald?
1.5 gallons.
If you have 1.5 gallons like detergent container,
yep.
After you empty it out, doing all that laundry for your family, fill it up with water, grab that chair, and watch this. Because, folks, it's going to make a difference in your body. So, Gerald, when you're doing that, what part of the body is that impacting?
Okay. For me, and it's so important. I talked earlier, we'll get into the core section, is I'm staying up nice and erect. I'm getting a nice sit, and I'm holding.
You're holding your stomach, right?
I'm holding your stomach tight. Absolutely correct.
Okay.
That you're holding your stomach tight. Some people are like, how do you hold your stomach tight? Well, think as though somebody's trying to poke you in your stomach. That you're holding it tight so that it doesn't push it in. That's the holding tight I'm speaking of. So again, so you're holding your stomach tight this whole time, and you're coming back up again. So I'm working I'm working the forearm area, and I'm working the back of the arm, my tricep area too as well. And a lot of times, this is for men and women, so I don't want to just say this is for both. But women, again, that's that flabby arms as we're speaking about earlier, is that helps tighten that flabby arm area up. And we're up, down, up, down, up, breathe. One thing I didn't mention to you earlier, make sure you're exhaling when you're lifting. Bring in good air when you're bringing it down.
Okay.
Get your breathing along with it.
And how many reps are you recommending?
I'm 12 to 15 repetitions. I want 12 to 15 repetitions on something like that. Definitely.
Okay, so folks, that's one exercise you can use with the combo of the 1.5 gallon container in the chair. What's another exercise that you can use with the chair?
Okay, so now we're also going to stick with the back of the arm too as well. We're going to go, and your resistance depends on how far you go out. So again, I'm just going to come here, and I'm going down, and I'm coming up. And that's, again, I'm working the back of my arms for my tricep area. I'm down, up, and again, don't forget I'm breathing. I know I'm talking here. I'll just do a couple of them without talking, just so we'll see how the breathing pattern goes. All right?
Now, when you start talking again, does that also help your gluteus maximus, which is called our behind and our calves and our thighs?
Not on that particular one. If I stretch my legs out a little bit further, that will tie some of those in.
Okay.
But the chair on this particular one's not going to do that. If I wanted to work on that area a little bit, and also my chair is now. There we go. Now.
I love that.
Now we're working this full thigh area, and then we're also working the hamstrings. So we're going forward, and then we're back. Again, forward.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is with no gym equipment. You can use the things in your house to begin to tone your body, and it's just repetition doing this every day. So how many reps would you recommend, Gerald, for this?
I'm sticking with my 12 to 15 as well. Anywhere 12 to 15.
15?
That's correct. But I'm going to throw a little something in there in just a second with my gallon jugs. The gallon jug didn't go away.
Okay.
So we're actually going to now add a little bit of weight to yourself, a little bit more when you go down. And you can actually feel that. I can actually feel this little bit extra weight.
Okay.
I have in my arms.
Wow. And that's the same number of reps that you're,
Same-
so are you
same
switching the
number.
water from side to side or just that one side?
As you get stronger, because remember, the 12 to 15 is going to get a little easier. So now
Right.
we want to add a little bit more resistance to it. So again, even though we don't have the chair, this particular one, you do it like a squat. Shoulder
Okay.
length, and you come down and you're up.
Right.
Down and up. I like for
Yes.
your head to be up. The reason I'm asking you for to find a spot and keep your head up, that allows you to keep your body straight up and down.
Okay.
If breathe.
Awesome.
If I put my head down, look what happens.
Right.
I go forward. We don't want that. We don't want to affect your lower back in that. We want to down, up.
And why are you looking up instead of down?
I'm looking up so I can stay myself erect. Because if I look forward, my head goes forward, my body goes forward. So I'm not trying to stay forward. I'm trying to stay straight up and down, my lower back. So let me show you. If my head's down, my squat's going down here. Look at the curve.
Oh, okay. I see it.
You said right. If I keep my head up, my head has to stay. My back has to stay exactly where I am.
Oh, okay.
See the difference?
Yeah.
My spot's way right here. So,
Okay. Now, Joe, doing those squats are great for the gluteus maximus and the calves and your thighs.
And the very thing, that's what exactly, because you had mentioned that earlier, and that's what's going to work the glutes, that's what's going to work your hamstring, and that's what's going to work your calf area too as well. So those are the things you can do. I like, as far as calf is concerned, is, the chair, I use that as to hold me.
I like that.
Just bring 1 foot over, and we just raise the calf.
Oh, look at you being all special.
Bring the calf up. Yep, raise up on the calf.
Really, Gerald? Are we crossing over on one, trying to
Yes. You can do
balance
that.
ourselves on one leg?
That's why we use the chair. Then, or if you want not want to do that, you just stand there and just do it on both.
Okay, you can do that one as well.
Right.
And that's going to strengthen your calves.
And that's going to strengthen and shape your calves. Because I like you have the nice shaped calves, you're going to throw your heels on. So again, you have the nice shaped calves when you throw your heels on. Man, you like have nice shaped calves, or when you're out playing ball or doing something.
Yes.
Or you're wearing shorts. Because that's another area that I like to pick on men about. Because you'll see men not wear shorts that often or whatever because they got the little chicken legs.
All I can say is, ladies, it's all about the walk away.
Right.
I'm going to tell you that walk away has really closed many deals for me, the walk away.
Right.
So he's right about the calves. Men are looking at that as you walk away. And I think a lot of people, Joe, put so much work in this part, the front. They don't think about the back.
That's correct. Exactly. You got to work that back too as well, because again, it's tightening. Remember I talked earlier, Chris, that one of the fatty areas for women is back in, back here in the glutes, in the lower glute area is where you have to pick that weight up. The squats that I just showed you earlier, those are going to help take that away. And that will help lift. That will help lift your, we were talking earlier about your breast being lifted. That's not going to happen as far as that area, but as far as bringing your buttocks area, that's definitely going to bring up your buttocks area.
Joe, what did you say? That's just not happening.
No, it's just not going to happen. Right, exactly.
You know what, folks? I'm going to tell you, and I knew this show was going to go pretty fast today. I need you guys to understand the difference is he's been doing this since he was 18. All of us are just starting to get into the whole movement. Consistency. It all starts off with watching the first podcast he did on health and fitness and nutrition and watching each one of those segments over because they build, by the way. They're builders. And the thing is, I'm following what he said. And you don't have to be in the same state with him. You don't have to talk to him every day. Just follow it and be consistent. That's all he's been saying, is just be consistent, right, Gerald?
Absolutely correct, Chris. You just need to be consistent with it. I've been doing it for 18 years. I've been consistent with it. Even when you fall off just a little bit, do something. You know, you may have done, workouts for, 3 hours back in the day. We don't need 3-hour workouts anymore. You need about an hour. 45 minutes is fine. I'm throwing cardio in there, all that time frame too as well. That's all you need, just the tone, just body in motion again. So don't say I don't have time any longer, because you really do have time. If you sat there on the internet, you poked and looked at something on Facebook and checking things out, that was the time you taken away from your workout. So just
exactly.
You set
and
Instagram,
one of the things, guys, and just leading to what Gerald said, I listened to him. I actually now, even though I'm tired when I get home, and let me tell you, folks, I'm in the office at 5:30 in the morning. And sometimes I work till 11:30, 12 o'clock at night because I still run my own company. I'm tired, and we do podcasts Monday through Saturday. So let me just say to you, what he said to me is, Christine, if you're watching anything for 30 minutes, get on the bike, walk in, like just stand still and just walk, but bring those knees up, so that you're chopping them, but you got to be doing something for that 30 minutes. So what I'm going to say to you folks is, listen to Robinson. He's got this show for a reason. 60 is the new 40s, because he has a body of a 40-year-old and he's 60. Listen to this guy and you're definitely going to get in shape. All I can say is continue to watch the series on toning and bands, because it's going to make a difference, folks. 100%. And don't forget to save those gallon containers in your detergent.
That's right.
Hey, Gerald, thanks again for another great show and just sharing your expertise. I really do appreciate it. I think you're an amazing guy. And you better get in those senior citizen homes. I think we can start this whole thing right now.
I think
they would love
idea.
it.
It really is, honestly.
I think it's a movement that we're waiting for. And I'm going to tell you, I'm definitely going to be on board. I think it's a great idea. And ladies, Gerald already said, it's not a lot you can do in order to pull your chest up, but you can tone. So let's work on toning those arms. Everybody wants Angela Bassett arms, honey, because they're amazing. And that's what my goal is. So folks, we'll see you the same time next week with 60 is the new 40. And it's going to be that guy, Gerald Robinson. Gerald, I'll see you next week. And thanks again. You have a great weekend.
All right, Chris, you do the same. Thank you. Have a great